Friends, on behalf of All India Radio, on behalf of Ananta IAS Academy, Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Visakhapatnam, today I will be mainly focusing on the prelims preparation. We have only 90 days to go. Exactly on 10th of October, the prelims examination are slated due to the pandemic, which have been postponed. Within these 90 days, the repeaters, the first timers, and the last chancers, all three put together, they have a very big dilemma of what are the topics to be done in a hurry. Because you might have already secured a lot of information, lot of coaching material, and you have read several articles also. There are 7 segments in the prelims paper 1 GS 1. What are they? History, normally the freedom movement and other things, and then the economy, geography, public administration, environment and ecology, science and technology, and finally the current affairs. These are the 7 topics to be covered within these 90 days. You may be under the impression that you can neglect 1 or 2 segments and concentrate fully on the other 5 segments, leaving current affairs or leaving public administration or economy, because they are not up to the mark for your absorption. But don't do that. Try to assimilate information as far as possible on all these 7 segments and prepare your own notes and read. That is the only item I will say. Then coming to the environment and science and technology, keep an eye, because last 2 years back, there were 14 questions on environment. It varies from time to time. It is not a fundamental issue that all 7 segments should be given a proper accommodation in those 100 questions. It may vary. Sometimes there may be more items on current affairs, sometimes on economy or public administration. So you should be thorough with all these 7 parts of the syllabus. It is a fixed syllabus also, but it is not a limited syllabus. It varies from time to time, and it depends upon the questioner, the examiner, who wants to examine your talent. For example, in the history segment, the freedom movement is more important, and the role of Gopal Krishna Gokhale and Balagangadhar Tilak, and the role of Mahatma Gandhi also. The freedom movement, which was there for the last 2-3 decades before 1947, it was going in a slow manner, and there were so many movements, the disobedience movement and all these things. You have to remember the dates. That is more important. When was the Quit India movement? And what was the participation by different parts of the country? And how many people have been involved in that very, very systematically. And then coming to geography, the rivers and the tributes and the river water tribunals. There are several river water tribunals also. And the geographical nature of the Indian culture is to be mentioned, and you have to read it thoroughly. Geography is a vast subject. Keep an atlas in your room and go on watching it at least 20 to 30 minutes a day. It can be a world map, or it can be an Indian map also. Both the maps you should go through. When it comes to South Asian nations or Look East policy, you have to remember the countries which are involved there, the SAARC countries, the BRIC countries, and different types of G7 committee meetings, all of these things. They need some speculation on your part. What are the countries and what are the importance of those committees meetings? Then coming to the environment. This is a highly volatile subject. The National Green Tribunal is there. It depends upon the National Green Tribunal chairman to punish or to fine a particular institution for neglecting the norms. There are several zoological parks. What are the zoological parks? What is the Save Tiger project? What is the Ministry of Environment and Forest is doing for the upcoming savior of all the tigers. The biodiversity summits are there. Every year they are conducted at different places, and the prime ministers of different countries, they attend the meetings. And then comes the Pollution Control Board, which is a higher authority in all the state governments. State governments also have the pollution control boards, as well as the Central Pollution Board. Then recently, when the new government of Modi ji came in 2014, they have started a separate ministry for Ganga rejuvenation. It is a very high esteemed body, particularly for the Ganges and the rejuvenation. There is a separate minister. Coming to the economy, due to the pandemic, the economy has gone back, and the GDP fall was there, inflation rate was there, DNS allowance was not given to the serving people and the retired people also. Reserve Bank of India, they gave surplus amount to Government of India, and then the industrial economy is there, and the agricultural economy and several other things due to the pandemic have been drawn back. You keep an eye on the subjects and what is the statistics available with you, and how much of importance is to be given for the agriculture economy, you have to keep in mind. Then comes science and technology. The space travel for the last 2-3 years has moved a little further. Chandrayaan and Mangalyaan were there. ISRO landmarks were there. All these things will come in a different manner in the GS paper 1 prelims. Coming to the public administration, the new ministry, when it was formed in 2021, because the examination question papers will be set up normally during this month, say in the month of July. There will be 5 to 6 sets of question papers will be there, and they will be jumbling, and a new question paper will be prepared, and it will be in 2 or 3 groups. One is A and another is B and C, and the circulation in one room is different. Coming to the public administration part, a new ministry has been formed. Earlier it was not there. The new ministry is known as Ministry of Cooperation. And the cooperation movement in India, the cooperative movement, which has started long back, is a very big landmark in the history of cooperative movement. And this ministry has been clubbed or given to additional charge to the regular charge is Home Ministry to Amit Shah ji, but this is also another portfolio for him, which has been given the cooperatives. Then the recent legislations in the Assam Parliament, which has been coming in the Monsoon Session, and the women ministers in the 77-member cabinet of Modi ji, and their importance also you have to remember. Coming to the current affairs, the Monsoon Session, the bills introduced, the business attended during the Monsoon Session from 19th July to 13th August, the strength of BJP in Rajya Sabha, because in 2022, the election of the President of India and Vice President of India will be there, and the selection of the President and Vice President will depend upon the members of Rajya Sabha also, particularly for the Vice President. Then the hurdles due to the pandemic also you have to note down, prepare your own notes. Due to the pandemic only, the Union Public Service Commission has postponed the examinations from the month of June to October. It gives you a facility to go and study in the libraries. The library facility will be available in the month of August, September also. And you make your own notes. You attend direct classes also from the coaching centers if you are going to the coaching. If you are preparing your own notes, you revise it at the end of September, and you make a red ink mark for the things which you have to revise and remember. Then I will move on to another important current affairs issues during these 2-3 days. The draft anti-trafficking bill, yesterday I was discussing with you about this. This is the Ministry of Women and Child Welfare has invited suggestions from its Tracking in Persons Preventing Care and Rehabilitation Bill 2021. They wanted a lot of suggestions from the public regarding the prevention and care of rehabilitation for the trafficking. What are the highlights? The bill proposes stringent punishments for the offenders, including hefty fines and seizing of their properties. This is another important thing. Earlier it was not there. Now the person who has done the offense, his property can be taken by Government of India. The bill now includes transgenders as well as any person who may be a victim of trafficking. Then the draft also does away with the provision that a victim necessarily needs to be transported. And another exploitation of the prostitution of others, sexual exploitation, pornography, physical exploitation, these are the things which have been included in the bill. This is a draft bill. The law extends to Indians and outsiders of India. Trafficking is prohibited under Article 23(1) of the Constitution. Immoral Traffic Prevention Act 1956 is the premier legislation in this regard. The Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013 is in force, wherein the section 370 of the IPC has been substituted with section 370 and 370A. According to Trafficking in Persons Report 2021, released by the United States State Department, COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in the increase of the cases of trafficking. Then I suggest another thing also to the participants and candidates: know about Blue Heart campaign by the United Nations. This is an important thing which you have to make a note of, and you prepare your own notes on that. Then comes the Unity 22 mission. What is this? It will be the Virgin Galactic's next recollect powered test flight of its spaceship VSS Unity. This is known as Unity 22 mission. The crew will be flying in the edge of the space on July 11 on board the Unity rocket ship developed by Galacta. It is a company. This will be 22nd mission of VSS Unity. VSS Unity is an entity. This will be Virgin Galactic's 4th crewed space flight. It will be the first to carry a full crew of 2 pilots and 4 mission specialists in the cabin. So total 6 people will be flying. It includes Richard Berman, founder of the Virgin Group. Sirisha Bandla, an Andhra lady, an astronaut born in Andhra Pradesh in India, will be part of the crew. She was in the news also. Rakesh Sharma is another Indian who went into the space prior to Bandla. Then this Bandla will be the 3rd woman of Indian origin to go to space after Kalpana Chawla and Sunita Williams. You remember all these 4 names. Number 1 is Kalpana Chawla, another is Sunita Williams, and the number 1 was Rakesh Sharma, and the 4th person will be Bandla Sirisha. The space vehicle can climb to an altitude of around 90 kilometers, enough to give passengers a few minutes of weightlessness and a view of Earth's curative from the edge of space. This is a very movable and very sensitive issue, and it gives a view of the weightlessness also. And here I will suggest another thing also: know more about New Shepard and what is the altitude of edge and space. What is the altitude of the edge of the space? These things you have to remember. Then comes fly ash. This was a question asked in the interview for Mr. Muchala Raju, who topped the IAS in 2000 odd. When he appeared for the interviews, the board asked him, what is fly ash? This is a present situation is The National Thermal Power Corporation has invited expression of interest for the sale of a residual product of the West Asian and other regions. So they invited tenders. It will supply ash from the power plants to ports, and the total quantum earmarked for the export is 14.5 million tons per year. It's a huge amount. As per the norms of the Ministry of Environment, thermal plants are supposed to utilize 100% of fly ash from the 4th year of operation. Then you may have a question, sir, what is this fly ash? Fly ash or pulverized fuel ash in a coal combustion product. That is the important element in that. It is a pulverized fuel ash. It composes particulates that are driven out of coal-fired boilers together with the flue gases. Toxic heavy metals present or cause the gradual poisoning. So we should be very careful in it. Then in this, you have to remember 3 points. Number 1 is the radiation hazard. Number 2 is the water pollution. Number 3 is effects on the environment. So all these things which are included in the fly ash item, you should take care of it, and you should remember what is the fly ash and how National Thermal Power Corporation is willing to invite the expression of interest from different parts of the country, of the world also. So with this, for today's briefing, I will call it a day, and I wish you all the best to prepare well for these 90 days. Thank you.